Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Changing Tides, Dawnbringers, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, Season 3, Episode 17, the very first Dawnbringers game of the new year. Welcome to 2020, everybody. I'm Jake, and I'll be your Dungeon Master. And we're going to get started right off the bat with a subscription, a resubscription from Fellowship. We'll go ahead and just start dropping domain dice on you guys right off the bat, because it looked like you were running low. You're at 122 now with that.
Hey, every little bit counts.
Every little bit counts. That's right. So, this is our Dawnbringers campaign. We are in Season 3. All previous episodes are currently available on youtube.com/miniterraindomain. All the way up through our last episode, which was actually a holiday Q&A special, where we talked about the campaign, answered some questions, and had fun for a couple hours. But in just a moment, I'm going to do a recap for everybody, bring us back up to speed, and we are going to immerse ourselves in the world of Dungeons and Dragons for a couple hours. First, the couple announcements I'm going to do. Since you saw the subscription got a domain dice up there, and you see this 122 up above my head, that is our way that you, the audience, can participate in the campaign and have an influence. For a $5 tip, 500-bit cheer, or a subscription, a resubscription, a raid, all those good things, will earn domain dice for the players. One domain die will allow them to re-roll any D20 roll, and normally the way it used to be is you would take that new roll. However, since they're flush with domain dice, you can just keep spending domain dice and re-roll until you get the result that you want, because eventually they will go away until or unless the audience keeps you guys flush in those things. 2 domain dice can be used to make me, the Dungeon Master, re-roll a D20 and take the new roll. 3 domain dice will allow the player that spent those dice to use hit dice outside of a short rest. 4 domain dice, 8 if it's a critical fail, will allow you to turn a failed death saving throw into a successful death saving throw. And 5 domain dice, what we call the Patron's Blessing, will allow you to turn a hit into a super crit, which is an automatic double max damage hit. And it has been used a few times. Although I would love to see a super crit be used. Did you use a super crit with the critical ham?
I absolutely
You did. That's right. That's right. That is the reason we have the ham or die shirt that Jeremy is wearing. You can go to teespring.com. Actually, if you type merch, !merch in the chat, it'll bring up the link to the merch store where you can buy a Dawnbringers t-shirt. You can get a like Ted's wearing. You can get a ham or die shirt like Jeremy is wearing. So and a lot of others. Actually, you can get a Bardic collared sweatshirt like I'm wearing. But anyway, yeah, domain dice. And a huge thank you to everybody that has subscribed and done all the things and donated to get us up to this point. It's so exciting. The other announcement, because I'm cutting down on front-end announcements, we'll have a new commercial break very soon that will have a lot of the stuff you would normally hear at the beginning. But this will always be at the beginning, and it is this. You are important. You matter. You are loved. And your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe that or not, whether you know that or not, it does. If you are struggling with this, though, and you need somebody to talk to, there are resources available to you. And we want you to take advantage of those. If you are in the United States, you can call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255 to talk to the National Suicide Lifeline. If you are a veteran, you can type 1 when you get through the call, and you will be connected with a veteran specialist. Or, if you prefer, you can text 741-741. In Canada, you can call the crisis text line, or rather, you can text the crisis text line by texting the word connect for English or parlay for French, or you can call the Canadian Suicide Prevention Services and talk to somebody in either French or English toll free 1-833-456-4566. And I've also included in that a new link to opencounseling.com/suicide-hotlines. That link has international hotlines for all over the world, because we know that people watch the show from everywhere in the world, and we want you to have those resources. We have a lot of American and Canadian players and audiences, but no matter where you are in the world, you matter, and we care about you. So please do not hesitate to use those resources. Go ahead, Fellowship, if you don't mind, throw the link to Jasper's and the coffee in the chat. I'm not going to plug those right now, but you can read what comes up in the chat from those links as well. It all ties in with the suicide prevention and awareness. And I'll have more information on Jasper's in the coming months, because I am going to be a guest at Jasper's Game Day here in Michigan in May. And then we're in the early stages of planning for Jasper's Stream Week, a full week of streaming immediately following that, right here on Mini Terrain Domain. Though I'm really hoping this year to tie in particular, I want the Dawnbringers to be a part of the Stream Week. In addition to other amazing games that we ran last year, and so many great people that come in. So with that said, let's play some Dungeons and Dragons. All right. So last time a whole bunch of stuff happened. Nobody really died, and we're all eating food. That's the short summary. There were quite a few things that had been happening, dealing with slavers, stopping part of a slaving organization and a smuggling operation, and freeing around a dozen or so slaves, now refugees, and taking control of the smugglers' base of operations, which was a place once thought to be a haunted house, about 4 miles outside of Saltmarsh. The Dawnbringers left behind Velitha and Laramie, a brother and sister duo that were enslaved previously, to sort of take charge of things. And the refugees are cleaning up the house and organizing everything and using it as a place to stay while they figure out what they're going to do next. And ultimately, it currently belongs to the Dawnbringers, though they haven't been back there yet. They have caught wind of and dealt a little bit with some lizard folk in the area. There has been rumors and information that the lizard folk may be gathering for some sort of... they're gathering their forces, though what they're going to do exactly isn't known for sure. Also dealing with plots tied up with the slaving that involved some of their friends being imprisoned under false charges, the dwarves that they brought over from Blazing Dell and from the Sword Coast being quarantined. For the most part, all of that's resolved. And in the last session was also when Thorgarn, and it's been a while, so you guys will have to remind me. I believe it was Cantriel was with Thorgarn. That they investigated the blacksmith. Good Lord, the word left my mind. Investigated the blacksmith. I need to open this map so I can reference it. Thorgarn, what was the name of the blacksmith?
It was the Dwarven Anvil, and Mother Mayfarer was the head there. It's been a long time since any actual dwarves smithed there. There was an anvil that was kind of like set up to be a shrine to Moradin, and they wanted it gone but didn't want to do it unceremoniously since it resembled a shrine. So I basically paid 10 gold and took it off their hands, and waiting to come back the following morning to talk to the mother and find out more information.
And previously to that, Talmud and Fig had gone off. Fig wanted literally to figure out what made him tick. I swear I'm drinking water. And Talmud went with him to help figure this out. They wound up finding out about a mysterious figure known only as the Raven, located on the Sharkfin Bridge. They sought him out, and this deft-fingered individual was able to literally open up Fig's face, and they were allowed to see inside, which also unlocked some memories for Fig, involving his creation, involving Copernicus, the wizard, and previously completely unknown to Fig was the fact that a copper dragon scale had also been inserted into his head. And Jeremy, you can remind me of this. Did Fig take possession of that or leave that in his head?
You know, that sounds like something rather important, so I'm not going to make that call.
I just don't remember. Megan will remember. Megan, of course, you can tell, is not with us tonight. Megan is unfortunately got a touch of the plague that's been going around, and her voice was really thrashed, and she didn't want to hurt it. So, Megan, we wish you well, and hope that you can join us next week. In the meantime, though, it was a pretty big reveal for Fig and Talmud as well, just wanting to sort of help Fig to kind of figure out who he is and where he comes from. Eventually, the party made their way back to a place that, actually, Cantriel had sort of quickly befriended this young woman by the name of Hannah Rist, who runs a tavern that looks to be sort of created slapdash from all these wreckages of fishing vessels, and it's called the Snapping Line. While looking for the cook of the Evangeline, the ship that they arrived in, Roland had been the only one not captured. He'd managed to escape the Evangeline before everything went down, but they encountered Roland on death's door. But Cantriel was able to quickly intervene and provide him with necessary healing magics. And it was later revealed that the source of what nearly killed him was a golden-tipped dart with a crimson feather. The party has convened at Hannah Rist's establishment, Snapping Line, for dinner. Hannah insisted that no coin should leave their purses or end up on her table or in her possession, because they had done quite a bit for the town. The town, which is divided between the loyalists and the traditionalists. Roland is there. And Captain Stark Dervish, had also been asked to come. And everybody was partaking in a very wonderful feast that was only briefly interrupted by Talmud's inability to stomach a custom house beverage known as claw wine, which is basically fish alcohol, as we put it. So that is where we are. I should also say, because we didn't mention Griveth. Griveth had, because in part Scotty had been gone one of those episodes, but Griveth had basically been making himself available around town to assist people. He'd it kind of been just being a local good guy, atoning perhaps for his previous sins when under the influence of the seed from the Gothias tree. And had been up to the temple a little bit, interacting up there, but has rejoined the party. Everybody is, as we join you all in the snapping line, everybody's sort of, or at least I'll say at least Roland and Dervish. Roland has actually been taking it kind of easy, despite Cantriel's healing. The poison that nearly killed him has kind of partially taken away his appetite, but also it kind of unsettled the stomach a bit. So he's kind of sticking to lighter fare. Dervish was ravenous. And anything that Roland didn't eat, Dervish put away himself. And so at this point, Dervish sort of and pulls on his loose-fitting shirt and just, what I wouldn't give for just a nice pipe and some pipe weed.
You know, we once traveled with a woman who had this, I don't know, vegetable of some kind that she would smoke, and it was very, very nice. I can't lie.
The wacky weed.
Yes, something like that.
Something along those lines, yes.
I miss Vi.
Me too.
Wow, sounds like this Vi would be somebody I would have wanted to have met.
Well, something.
Well,
Just smoke your pipe after a meal.
it's been a long while since I've had a pipe. But
Here,
it's been a
try
long
mine.
while since I've had this good. Oh, you have a pipe, don't you? I totally forgot that you have a pipe.
Has Cantriel smoked the entire time?
No.
No,
Well,
didn't. It was a treasure you found, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just a treasure I found. I tried it once, and it showed the fighting the dragon scene in the smoke.
So do you give him your pipe?
I should, like, is that something I think is that,
I don't think it's attuned.
that's what I was just looking at.
I'm trying to remember what exactly it was. Was it an ever smoking?
Oh, okay, yeah. So this week we could find out something about the captain then.
Remind me
shows
what
like
it's called,
your-
because I think this is one of the items
It's
from
the pipe of remembrance. Long,
Yeah,
delicate wooden pipe.
shows like your
features a
greatest-
bowl.
oh.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'm just double checking something because I had gotten an item off the DM's Guild called 50 Magic Items, Treasures of Saltmarsh, that I had used for some of your magic items that you'd received. And I'm just
I
trying to
think it plays out your greatest
Yeah. the
moment.
most heroic, your most impressive and heroic achievement
There you
of
go.
the bearer. So the person smoking the pipe. Oh, so totally, yes. Cantriel's like, here,
You can use mine. It's more for show than anything else.
And you, of course, don't say anything to him about what it...
no, I just did. It's more for show than anything
Oh.
else.
All right. I'm just checking something. Thanks to D&D Beyond for giving us insider access. Mini Terrain Domain is powered by D&D Beyond. It is a D&D thing.
It's a thing.
The Pipe of Remembrance. I was just trying to remember. Ironically, I was trying to remember.
Remember the pipe of remembrance. Hey, I can't. Help
Okay.
you.
So yeah, as everybody's sort of finishing up, and Hannah has been steadily coming by and making sure drinks are refreshed, and she's pretty impressed. Thorgarn, are you using your special mug?
I am indeed.
Yeah, Hannah's pretty impressed that as much as you guys have on your table and as much as you've been drinking, there doesn't seem to be a drop of ale that you've spilled. But as this is happening, Dervish lights up the pipe and just sort of relaxes. He's having a bit of small talk with Roland. Him and Roland, things seemed a little tense with them at first when he first showed up. And he has had very basic small talk with Roland, but they haven't really gotten into anything in particular. And that's about the time you notice that the smoke that has been just lazily curling out And it's in a moment where Dervish has the pipe and he's kind of holding it off to the side. And he's not looking directly at it at the moment. But Cantriel, you see as the shape of a ship appears. A ship you recognize, the Evangeline. And in the smoke, you see a very small version of a figure with 4 tiny smoke tendril eye stalks. Victor, the spectator, moving back and forth. And you basically what you see play out here is the day that Dervish captured and convinced. You see the little figure of Dervish coming up and interacting and convincing Victor to allow him to board and basically assuming command. And it sort of shifts from that into the ship then heading out to sea and a island appearing, a small rock island appearing as a small waft of smoke that then grows larger and larger. And then you see a figure in this small island. You actually see a few figures. And as they begin to take shape, they appear to be women. At least their top halves appear to be women. And you watch as these mermaids seduce Dervish and his crew. And it plays out more in just a mingling of the figures. They sort of become this indistinct smoke, sort of mingling a bit. But it seems as though things shift and Dervish has the upper hand, and the crew is not captured by. Dervish seems to be quite comfortable with these mermaids. We'll just say that. And then it's about this time that Dervish pulls the pipe to take a draw from it, and what happens is you're seeing this moment where these 3 figures of mermaids and the figure that was Dervish, the smoke tendrils seem to be curling around one another. And as he takes a draw, the smoke sort of goes, and the focus shifts. And he's looking through the smoke at you and realizes what you just saw. So it's just for show, eh?
Literally. It's a nifty little trick that it does.
Interesting.
Yes, very interesting, I might say.
Well, I would tell you the story, but it appears you've already experienced it.
Well, I didn't experience it. You experienced it. I witnessed it.
That pipe should come with a rating. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it depends on the user. So, this one will need him slap a little NC-17 or something on the next time, or I don't know. Do fish age?
He just sort of chuckles. He does, for a moment, he hesitates, and then he continues out to smoke the rest of the tobacco. And for the rest of the time, it's basically just the Evangeline as a smoke form, sort of sailing around everybody's heads. And every once in a while, smoke will curl up and it will appear like it's arriving at a port. And every time, Dervish seems to find himself ways to be entertained while he's in port. And eventually the tobacco burns itself out. But everybody roll me a perception check. Oh, no. No. Something's trying to install. Hold on.
What happened?
My whole screen, all of my screens just went blank.
Oh, no,
and some program just tried to auto install or auto update.
No, we're not playing like that tonight.
So this pipe's supposed to show their greatest achievement.
Yeah. So clearly,
And this dude's legendary entertainment, shall we say, is his greatest achievement. Wow.
Well, perhaps it's their greatest achievement in their mind's eye.
Okay.
Well,
All
he's
right.
like the fortune cookie rule. In bed is added to it.
Yes.
Okay. Understood. So apparently the claw wine has opened up my senses because I've never rolled this well on perception. It's a 16.
Ooh.
Wow. And
I think Cantriel is a little distracted. I got a 9.
well, I was going to say, Cantriel, you have this ridiculously high passive, so
Yeah.
you would have noticed this. What about Griveth? How'd you do?
I got a 27. I rolled a crit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talmud?
Equally as impressive at 13. I know. Hold your applause to the end, please.
I mean, that's double digits for you on a perception check. That's
It is actually.
Yeah,
quite
exactly.
good.
And let me just see how Fig does. I'd forgotten to bring up Fig. Fig got a 19.
There you
So
go.
I'm going to say that everybody notices this. And pardon me a moment because I'm getting quite warm
everyone
up
notices.
here.
It's that kind of
Everybody-
show.
yes.
Jeez.
I really couldn't handle
Perception
Dervis's
all that,
accomplishments.
all that
One
talking
second.
about Dervish. It's got them all hot and bothered.
Not the perception check we were discussing.
All right. So you all would notice that as the smoke Evangeline is making its way around the table, that a couple times it seems to suddenly just in a puff of smoke and reappear somewhere else. And you've seen this property of the Evangeline. Its ability to teleport forward, not in time, but in a distance equal to a certain passage of time's amount of travel.
Does it make that noise when it teleports? Ba-dong!
Yeah, I don't know what that was. But you also notice that at least twice during its maneuvering around the table, it goes up towards the rafters. Normally, the whole time that it had appeared, it had maintained a level at like chin height, with, well, we'll say chin height with the average sized people. And it a couple times seems to just, it doesn't like teleport up. It just sort of rises up and begins to sail around the rafters, and then it comes back down. Make of that what you will. But at this point, what would you like to do? I know how to DM.
So you said this dart is what nearly killed Roland?
Yes.
So are we talking like a dart, like a blowgun dart, or like a dart, like a throwing dart?
More in the vein of a blowgun dart.
Okay.
I don't think you were with them though, Talmud, when they showed it.
I was not here, so I'm not sure.
I believe at this point, as of right now, only Cantriel and Thorgarn were there.
Ew.
I see.
Griveth's out too.
Oh yeah, and Griveth were the three that had seen it.
Okay, cool.
So, Captain, have you heard more about these red feathered calling cards?
Well, tapping out the burnt, spent tobacco, he takes care to return your pipe to you cleaned out. Well, I wasn't able to find out much, but I have learned a few things, and none of it's good. The Crimson Feather was intended, of course, to kill its target, and he looks over at Roland. The Crimson Feather is a calling card of the Scarlet Brotherhood. The best that I've been able to learn from them or about them is much like blood flows through your veins, the Scarlet Brotherhood flows through every aspect of the goings-on in Saltmarsh, just below the surface. They seem to have their hands in a bit of everything, and it's not always clear where and how they're influencing things. They're an organization that has apparently been around for a very long time, and it can be assumed that they've got their hands in the local businesses. They're taking a piece of the fishing operations, any salvage operations, any money that goes into or goes out of and especially comes into Saltmarsh. They're probably getting a cut of it. And my guess is that some of the individuals we've worked with or we've interacted with since we've been in town, let's just say they've got puppet strings leading somewhere. And on the other end of those strings is most likely somebody from the Scarlet Brotherhood.
Talmud kind of looks over to Fig a little uneasily at first, and then he kind of turns to the rest of the group. I think that maybe we know someone who might know something about this group. Perhaps.
Well, might be worth looking into it more, but it seems that either someone is holding a grudge against your shipmate captain, or we've poked a couple of the wrong wounds.
Could also be a combination of both.
True.
Roland speaks up. And he seems to struggle a little bit with keeping eyes on Dervish, like holding eye contact. So as he's looking around the table at all of you, he seems to very quickly move past Dervish as he's talking to the rest of you. And you'll have to forgive me because I completely forget what Roland sounded like the last time. So this is what he sounds like now. So I had time while you were dealing with trying to clear the captain, and I had time while I was moving about, trying not to be seen, to pick up bits and pieces here and there, and it's no secret that there's at least half of this town that doesn't want you here. They didn't want your dwarves here. They don't want you here. That is why the Evangeline and the captain were targeted. But I think I may have poked my nose in a few places I shouldn't have, and I wasn't as careful as I thought I was.
Well, do you recall the places you've poked?
There's not a lot of places I haven't poked. Because believe it or not, I was... Damn it, Jeremy.
Like your captain.
I may have ruffled a few feathers.
Or fins?
Trying to figure out and trying to clear the captain's name. So I can't say for sure who. But they saw me as a threat. Perhaps it was because I was trying to And for the first time, he actually addresses Dervish directly because I was trying to clear your name.
So this brotherhood, are they here in town? Is it more of a larger organization? Do we know much about them? Because if they're just here in town, there can't be all that many of them. Not a big town to begin with.
Well, Mrs. Dervish says, well, I've been all up and down the coast. I've traveled back and forth across the sea, been to a lot of port cities, and I don't always interact with, let's just say I don't always interact with the most lawful of people. And in my experience, there are certain criminal organizations that permeate every town. They tend, your thieves guilds and such. Well, the Scarlet Brotherhood seems to be something a little more insipid. They're not easy to find anything out about them. And it seems that they may have dealings that extend beyond just Saltmarsh proper. How far, I have no idea, but your presence here, something about all of you being here, maybe it's us being here, has definitely got them agitated.
Are they typically for hire, or do they see to their own motives?
There are possibilities for hiring anybody. A rumor, and this is just a rumor that I heard, is that if you want to procure the services of the Scarlet Brotherhood, you stand out on the docks at midnight, prominently wearing something red, and they will approach you.
There are you, dwarf.
I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Thinking of laying a trap, are you, dwarf?
Well, it was more a wonder of whether we're dealing with merely an assassin for hire that was coined by someone here in the city, or if we're actually taking on this brotherhood ourselves.
Something tells me that they wouldn't exactly not make sure their horde was well trained and taking care of the more unsavory bits of being a super secret society.
What would a thieves guild or whatever they are, what would they have to gain for keeping miners out of Saltmarsh?
That is quo.
Their thumb on the people.
We've seen there's a lot of people here who don't want the change that our lot can bring. You go mucking around in politics and money, you change things, and they ain't liking that sort.
That's why I prefer a straight toe-to-toe fight every time.
And while
None
it
of
would be
this
nice, that's
business.
not exactly how this political environment works.
I
Unfortunately,
know, I'm
not.
getting a headache. Ugh.
That might be the drink.
Oh,
Stuff is very gross.
I need
by
more
the way.
drink.
No, ooh.
Perhaps
Here,
more water.
he kind of slides him his tankard.
It just reminds you of
Have my fish booze. So you're saying they're not exactly exclusive to Saltmarsh then? That they, are coastally inclined and they move up and down, or?
No, I'm saying I think they're based in this area, but their tendrils reach far and wide. At least in this region. A lot of that's just speculation. I mean, unless we... Well, what you're talking about is a dangerous proposition. Before we even knew who they were, they tried to kill Roland.
Right.
No offense, Roland, but they're not exactly the first people who have tried to kill us. It's kind of just par for the course at this point. I don't know why I just made a golf reference.
Because of the Scottish nature of the dwarves.
'Cause, you know, the Scott.
Hit it in the hole, laddie!
Get in the hole.
We do tend to rile things up, don't we?
Well, you
Some of
know,
us.
sometimes certain approaches tend to get attention.
I mean, has anybody, other than Roland, has anybody, since you've been here, tried outright to do anything to you?
Well,
Well, in town? No. I don't think they're stupid enough.
outside of sending us to a haunted house to get attacked by overpowered slavers.
And trying to turn the crowd against us.
That's true. They haven't exactly been friendly.
It's
No.
more what they've done to you and yours than to us. I mean, Roland's been attacked. You and the other two were at the gallows. I mean, that's
Fully strung.
that's a lot scarier than anything we've dealt with.
Well, I'm going to say something that, well, I don't mean any offense by this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't think they were after me or my crew, because they set upon our ship as soon as we came into port. They were waiting for us. Somebody knew you were coming, and we're expecting you to be on the ship. Because when they took us, they kept looking through the ship, and they searched the ship thoroughly. 2 of them died trying to get into that locked room below decks that we can't get into. They didn't send any more trying to open that door. We learned that lesson a long time ago. But my point is, they knew we were coming. When we parted ways at Mother of Pearl's place, they didn't know that you all had head off with Ira. They didn't know that you weren't with me. Now, I'm not saying it's your fault what happened to me, but I am saying
Connected.
I'm saying it's your fault.
It is
And
our
again-
fault, but we also got you out.
No, and don't mistake me for saying that.
square.
I'm not trying to blame you, and what happened. But they weren't after me, is my point.
Makes
They were
sense.
after you.
I don't rightly know what we could have done to invoke the ire over here.
Who's after us?
That's the question. Now,
Haven't exactly been subtle in our past adventures.
Well, maybe whoever knew that we were coming also knew what we were coming for.
Perhaps.
Maybe it's not a
Or-
personal problem. It's just something that they're trying to stop us from doing.
That's a good point,
Or-
Talmud.
They know we're capable of sussing
Making
out
shit
things.
change.
Mm.
Forcibly, if we have to.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
well, the traditionalist mindset is pretty firm in this place. They do not want King Scotty coming in here and taking control. That's for sure. And they see the mining operation in the dwarves as a threat. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I like to be able to move into a town and not get mired up in politics. It's not
Rather
my...
move into town and get moving.
But, I think I know somebody that could shed some light on what's going on around town. Gosh, she's gonna hate me, even the fact that I'm mentioning her to you guys.
What's the name?
What?
But I think she's the she might have a good idea of what's going on. She's been here for a while. Her
Vantage.
Where have you heard that name?
I met her.
That's not possible.
Oh, it's quite possible. He got on famously. Been invited to her house to have dinner.
He seems genuinely surprised.
Captain.
She
Really?
Fig speaks up. Oh yes. The elven woman with the beautiful blue dress. She seemed quite interested in me for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Dervish looks over at Fig. Yeah, she definitely would be interested in you.
Yes, well.
So, you met Vantage.
Mm-hmm.
Where? In town?
Literally, yes.
His eyes are looking around. He's searching for some kind of answer. If she sought you out, and you say she invited you?
She did.
Well then, maybe she won't be so mad if I bring you guys. I think we need to go talk to Lady Vantage.
That works for me. She seemed quite engaging.
As long as she's got better wine.
That invitation for tomorrow, or was that supposed to be for tonight?
Thought it was.
It was an open invitation. It was sort of an ambiguous invitation, is what it was. I really like you, and maybe I'll invite you over for dinner sometime. And now Dervish is just inviting you. I think that we definitely should go and speak with Vantage. Unless you all have something you need to take care of the rest of today.
Sort of already in the plans. We do have to see a mother about a set of armor for Thorgarn.
Oh, you're wanting to talk to...
But I think that was tomorrow morning.
Yes, that's tomorrow morning. And it's not so much about the armor, it's about learning what dwarf worked at that smithy. It's, some information that I'd like to have. Kind of pull out the
Dwarven Anvil? I've never known dwarves to run that place.
I pull out the small anvil. This was the centerpiece of a shrine dedicated to the god that I worship, and he kind of grudgingly under his breath says champion.
Dervish just kind of looks at you like, and you stole it?
No, they wanted it gone. It was taking up space, but it was their words, not mine. It was like a shrine, and they did not want to take it down unceremoniously. So they said, "Here, make me an offer and take it out." So I paid them some gold and took it out, but I want to know more information about who it was that worked in that location.
That makes sense. Dwarf wanting to learn about the Dwarven Anvil. But you said not till tomorrow?
Aye.
Yeah, I think we could probably go talk to Vantage tonight then, if you don't have any plans for the day, or for this evening.
Well,
That's
it's
impressing.
Honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if she was expecting us.
Well, then let's not leave her waiting.
About this point, Hannah is coming by and topping off drinks and starting to clear away some of the empty dishes. And well, unless I'm mistaken, it appears you're ready to make your way.
Yes, but it was wonderful, and thank you so much for taking good care of us this evening.
It has absolutely been my pleasure. But I must tell you, while I've thoroughly enjoyed providing you this hospitality, after tonight's meal, I will require coin for future visits.
As you should.
Are you sure that we can't pay for tonight's?
As I said, when you arrived, I want to see none of your coin today.
I just
Tomorrow.
wanted to make sure, man.
That's
I
all
think
good.
I think your wine might be rancid.
It's fine. It's just an acquired taste.
What? Just trying to help.
She looks at one of the cups of the wine that's near you. In fact, I'd say there's like a half a bottle of it that's near you that you've just not touched. And she takes the bottle and I don't know what you're talking about. That's as good as ever. That's some of the best I've made.
Maybe you should bring along a
And then,
bottle.
and then she gives you a wink, Talmud. Well, take care of yourself. Try not to get into too much trouble, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Likewise.
So you all are gonna head out with Dervish towards
Yeah. And away to go. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
all right. Who's the first person to leave?
Well, wouldn't it be Dervish? Because he's going to take us to where she lives.
Okay. Dervish leads the way outside.
I'm
He
just
can
leaving.
find the trap for once.
He can go to the door first, damn it.
It's because it's later in the year, and it's kind of in an autumn time frame. It's just getting to be the early stages of dusk. Not quite nightfall yet. There's still some orange glow in the sky. The sun is still a red orb that has just begun to touch the horizon. But you can see on the opposite horizon that it's already turned into deep violet of night approaching. Dervish heads out, and he kind of, as he walks out and kind of turns, partially holding the door open, and I imagine he's holding the door open, and Thorgarn and Talmud kind of walk under his arm as he's holding it high up on the door, and he just looks at you, Cantriel, and he says, "That's quite a fascinating pipe you got there. I'd have to keep an eye out for something like that."
Yes, I sort of happened upon it.
I'd be interested to see what it shows if I know what it does. You never know what kind of stories can be told in when smoke's around. And I would like everybody to make a perception check.
19.
I already used my good one, so I imagine this is going to stink. Holy crap! Dirty 20.
Sorry.
Dirty 20? Okay.
Just the flow of the words. That was fantastic.
24.
And I likewise got a dirty 20.
Hey, now it's a party.
All right, let
Wait,
me.
I got the lowest one? That's weird.
The dwarves are paying more attention.
What did you get?
You're
What
caught
did you
up in
get,
what's going on.
Cantriel?
I got a 19.
Fig also got a 19.
Woo.
Damn.
Who was it that had the high one?
Scotty.
I had 24.
as this banter is happening, and you walk outside, and Griveth, you become. I don't want to use the word acutely aware, but you're hearing this sort of the banter from Dervish talking with Cantriel, and it's kind of as the town's winding down, you're hearing it sort of reverberate in this area between buildings, and you hear, you just become aware of the distant, it's a little ways, not too far away, but close enough you can hear it, sound of the surf, and the last little sounds coming from a couple of ships that were late coming into port, into the harbor, being tied off, and the crews are, people are starting to come up and look like they're heading towards Hannah's, towards the snapping line. There's a few other people milling around. You hear dogs barking, that sort of just like in the fall, you just hear that sound. It's just like, this is the end of summer. Fall's coming. The air's got that sort of seaside town humidity to it without being too hot. But the walls of the building still emanate some of the trapped heat from the sun. And you're just sort of looking around as you come out, and you're smelling that salt air. And as you kind of cast your eyes around, you see on the building across the street, Griveth, a figure standing.
On top of the building?
On top of the building. And you see the figure suddenly make a motion. And with that high of a perception check, you recognize the motion that this figure's making is a throwing motion. And I need, because you all made your perception. Actually, you know what? I got to roll for Dervish.
Ooh.
Okay, he did good enough too. I think Dervish suddenly sees the look in Griveth's eyes, and sees what he's looking at, and everybody sort of realizes before Griveth can say anything. Everybody sort of notices at the same moment. So everybody will make a dexterity saving throw at advantage.
Ooh.
Now, is that because we're going to Lady
I was thinking
Vantage?
Vantage was gonna say, yep.
Ha 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 ha.
Daddy 20.
You make that joke at Lady Vantages, and we'll see what happens.
You'll have this.
Well, I use my good rolls on perception checks because, neither of those is above a 10. So, I'm gonna use a domain die and re-roll one.
Oh yeah, she's got domain die
Roll
for
'em if you got 'em.
days.
Roll 'em, you got 'em.
All right, that's a 12. 3 dice, and the best I get is an 11.
Oops.
All right, so you got, what'd you end up with?
12.
What'd you get, Griveth?
Dirty 20.
All right. Dervish fails. With a 10. Talmud?
I got a 17.
You succeed. Griveth succeeds. Cantriel.
Dirty 20.
Fig has a 4, unless you would like Fig to use a domain die.
Sure.
Fig can use a domain die.
That is now a 3, unless you would like Fig. I won't make the call to use domain dice. You
Fig
have
can
to make
use
that
domain
call.
Die again. Yeah, let's keep Fig up and.
Okay, that is a 16.
Okay.
Let me just do something real quick. Let's see.
You guys think I should let my 12 stand, or should I roll again?
That is entirely up to you.
As of right now, you and Dervish are the only ones that failed. Also, Roland failed. So, here's what happens. I've just got to check. That would be 1, 2, 3. It'll be 10. I have 10d6.
That's
As
a lot.
the right in front of you in the road, half on this like wooden boardwalk, the world explodes in fire. $10, $20, $30. If you got a saving throw, if I said you passed, if you got a saving throw of 15 or higher, you will take, the total I actually rolled was 37. If you got higher, you will take, what is that? 18 points of fire damage. If you failed, you will take 37 points of fire damage.
Is the captain or Roland down?
Roland is not moving. I've got to check Dervish. There he is. Gotta open his sheet. Open. Uh-oh. Hold on. That's why it wasn't opening. One moment. Where is my... Ah, there it is. I thought I'd moved it to my local hard drive, and it's on this portable drive, so it won't open from Acrobat. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna say though, at 37 points, Dervish is up. I know that he has more than 40 hit points. I just have to find them. So what do you do as this explosion happens?
So did we see where it came from?
All of you saw that it came from this person. Everybody passed their perception check. Saw the figure that Griveth noticed. Griveth's the only one that noticed for sure that this person threw something. And I'm going to say that if you failed your save and took the full damage, you are knocked prone. The rest of you were able to maintain your feet. There are parts of the front of the snapping line are on fire. There's splinters of wood everywhere. Dogs are barking maniacally. The boom of the fire blast is echoing across the just sort of reverberating a bit. I would like 4 of you. Jeremy, I would like you to roll me a d6. There are 2 other civilian bodies lying in the street nearby, singed. Maybe some of one of their clothes, their cape or something is burning a bit, but they do appear to be dead or unconscious. What are you doing?
One of those bodies actually had landed on Talmud, and this person had taken the brunt of this damage, this fireball damage, which is partially how Talmud had been shielded somewhat from the damage. And he kind of rolls this body off of himself and kind of rolls over onto his knees and puts his forearm on the ground. He looks up and his beard's kind of singeing and his eyes light with like this blue ghostly like fog. You said this person was on the roof?
Yes, they were.
Is it a full roof? Like a flat rooftop building, or is it like angled, or is it like an awning?
Let's see. You were there. 13. The roof is it's a 2-story building. And they were
really high up
it's not flat roofed. So they were probably up about almost 30 feet.
Yeah. Are they still standing there, or have they like run?
Make me a investigation check. Did you pass this? Did you take full or half damage? Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make your investigation check.
Ooh. I'm gonna burn a domain die. 9 total.
You're looking and there's just smoke everywhere and it's hard for you to see. Anybody else that wants to look may also make an investigation check. Here we go. He doesn't have, that's, I looked at the wrong area. I'm like, why does Dervish have 34,000 hit points? He's a god. Let's see, current hit points.
But he's not worth a whole lot of XP, huh?
Right. Yeah, Dervish is actually, he's kind of picking himself up. He's wounded, but he's definitely in full control. And as he kind of picks himself up, he's just kind of looking around at all of you. What in the nine hells? Was that everybody all right? Who else made investigation checks?
Are we in or out of initiative at this point?
Not yet. Are you in initiative?
All right. Am I close to Roland?
Yes.
Can I was knocked prone as was he, because we both failed. Can I lay on hands?
Why don't you give me a medicine check? Griveth. What'd you get for your investigation?
Only a 12.
And Cantriel, I don't know if you said anything, but I saw your mouth move, but I didn't hear anything.
Done nothing.
It was a 5.
Oh.
Nat 20 for a total of 21 on my medicine check.
You have no doubt in your mind that Roland is dead.
Oh, okay.
As you kind of crawl over to him, since he's just a few feet away, intending to lay on hands. And as you're kind of in that process, you sort of roll him over a little bit. And as you roll him over, the whole side of his face is blackened. One eye is completely obscured, and the other eye just stares empty up at you.
Well, then, as greedy of an action as it is, can I lay on hands myself?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm down more than half my hit points. So
Yeah.
37 damage.
That was pretty brutal.
What happened? Where did that come from?
There. Talmud has, from where he came out of the tavern, he has his kind of satchel in all his gear and stuff. It's kind of still in his hand, and he drops it in the dirt and pulls out 2 javelins and starts marching down the street in that direction.
All of a sudden, Dervish goes, there! And he points. He rolled a nat 20 on his investigation, so he got a 22 as he's looking around, and he spots the figure, and it looks like they are moving away from, to try to recede back away from the, after surveying their damage. They're sort of backing off. I just need to check a thing real quick. Let's see. I haven't moved Dervish into D&D Beyond yet, so I have to search for his stuff. All right, so Dervish is going to, you see, as he points, he holds his hand up, and he's wearing, he's got a couple of rings on his hand, and as he moves his hand, you see the last waning sunlight sort of reflect off of one of his rings, and it looks like he actually plucks that reflection, and it grows into this sort of shimmering ball of energy, and he hurls it up at the rooftop Yeah, definitely within range. Melee spell attack. So he hurls it up. He gets an 18 plus 5. He gets a 23 to hit. You see as this figure's receding, this ball of energy hurls up at the top and hits this figure. And as it does so, you see lightning just go arc away. And he does 3d8 of damage. Rolled 2 8s. Rolled 18 points of damage. And let's see. Choose. And the figure actually slips on the roof and slides down the angle and drops down to the next level. There's like a roof. And as he lands, he doesn't do so clumsily. He lands in one of those 3-point crouches. And you see in the waning sunlight as it glints off of a blade. And he goes, I wish I could whistle. He goes, he just gives a shrill whistle. And I will have you roll for initiative when we return from our break.
Ooh.
All right, I wanted to write something down so I don't forget it. Yep, we will roll for initiative when we return from the break and see how this is going to play out.
Woohoo.
Thank you to everybody who has tuned in so far, hanging out with us in the chat. And to anybody that has, I think I got all of the subscriptions that have come in and awarded domain dice appropriately. And just, it's so good to be back with all of you playing this game again. We are going to take a 10-minute break, and we will see you on the other side. And we're back. All right. Right before the break, the party left the Snapping Line Tavern just after dusk on their way to go see the Lady Vantage when a mysterious figure was spotted on a rooftop, hurled an explosive device at you, and blew everything in the street to Kingdom Come, killing Roland, the cook of the Evangeline, and 2 innocent bystanders, wounding all of you, some of you more than others. Suddenly, Dervish spotted the individual and hurled a chromatic orb up at the rooftop, striking the individual, who dropped down 1 level, sliding onto the tiles up above, pulled out a blade, and whistled for companions. You see, from the shadows on either side of the building, emerge, first on one side, 2 brutish individuals, a man and a woman, and they are armed with crossbows and maces, and they wear thick leather armor. And as they come out, one of them slapping his mace in his hand, the other one, she's raising her crossbow. From the other side, 2 more. These 2 men come out, also with mace and crossbow. And then a 5th figure emerges, comes out into the street, and as he comes running in, he leaps over a barrel, does a flip, and lands, 1 leg spread out to one side, his hand in front of him, and then he slides up to a standing position. And he is barefoot and wears a vest and loose-fitting pants. Here is the batting order. This barefoot individual is going to go first, followed by Cantriel, Thorgarn, Fig. Nope, not Fig. Griveth. Then Fig. Then the original assassin. Let's see, where are we? And then the muscle. And finally Talmud will join the fray. So this individual comes out and looks at all of you. And let's see, we've got the 5 of you plus Dervish, so I'm going to roll a d6. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3. Ooh, he's running for Fig.
Oh, no.
He comes running up, perhaps not noticing in the low light that Fig is an automaton, or maybe he already knows that. But he is going to charge at Fig, and he is going to... he comes running up, and he leaps in the air with a flying kick. And as he comes down, swings twice with his fists. So that's going to be 3 attacks on Fig. That is a 18, a dirty 20, and a 15. Fig has an armor class of 14, so all 3 of those are going to hit Fig. You see this individual come running up and just unleash, and it's going to do a total of 3d8 plus 9. That's 10, 19 points of bludgeoning damage. And Fig needs to make a dexterity saving throw of, nat 20. So Fig just sort of reels back a step. You actually see Fig just puts 1 foot back and braces it and stops himself from being knocked over by this individual, who, as he lands, after striking Fig a couple times, what did I say? It was 19 points of bludgeoning. He goes like this. Not quite expecting to punch metal. let's see. So Fig is down 19 points. So that is his turn. Cantriel, you've got
Okay.
your pick of a total of 6 targets.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I can't shift my target yet that one way because the morning one. But bonus action, I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark on the monk, assuming it's a monk.
Sure seems like one.
Sure does. So I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark upon them, and then using my bow, I'm going to shoot at them.
All right.
Two
Take a shot.
shots. This is an extra d6 damage. Okay, so this is going to be, what is it again? Mathing. So that is a 21 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, and that's going to be 13 points piercing for the first strike.
As you shoot at him, he goes like this and grabs the arrow, and he's not quite fast enough, and you see as he stops it, you see a trickle of blood from his shoulder. He doesn't take full damage. He rolls a 7, 10, so he reduces it by 10, so he's only going to take 3 points of that damage.
Oh, little bugger.
And he just, with one hand, goes and snaps the arrow. Finish your attack, I presume?
Yep. Oh, that's okay. I have more. And this time it's going to be a 19.
That will hit.
And that is going to be 12 points piercing.
This one, he does not stop. Just as he snaps that arrow, and that's where, in the sound of the snap, is also the sound of you loosing that second arrow, and it strikes him, and he sort of,
Okay.
And you used your bonus action to mark him already. Did you do Hunter's Mark damage to him?
Yes, it did. It's a 1d6 at the first level.
Okay. So actually, back up then. So you did 13 total damage to him.
Yeah.
So just the attack of the arrow was only what?
Ooh. Well, I had a 4 and then I had a 2 for the Hunter's Marks. It was 13. And
it was 13 total. So
the first one.
it'd be 11 points. You did 2 points. Okay. That just changes the damage that he took.
Okay.
I was looking to see if he reduced it to 0, because that would mean that he could throw it back at you.
Oh.
But no. All right. Cool.
Okay.
It is now Thorgarn's turn. You are muted.
Sorry, somebody's got to do it every session. So
Just surprised that wasn't Scotty.
Getting out of the way to help my fellow brethren. How close is the one that's attacking Fig?
I would say within. You guys were all fairly close. The explosion didn't blow you too far apart, so I'd say within 5 to 10 feet. You can definitely get to him.
Great. Does he looks hale and whole and hearty, right?
Well, he's bleeding a little bit because he just got shot by Cantriel.
I'm gonna go over and try to apply some changes to that. Let's see here. It's a 18 to hit.
That hits.
And a dirty 20 to hit.
Both of them hit.
So I'm haven't managed to use this yet, but when my longsword goes to enter into that center mass, a bit of white glow surrounds the sword. I am smiting him.
Ooh.
10, 12. Has 16 points of damage on the first. And the second one is going to be another 8 points of damage. Is he still standing?
He's got a couple of he seems to be trying to block these and deflect them, and he's taking a couple of big gashes across his arms. He's bleeding, but he's still standing.
All right, so bonus action attack. Use a domain die because I got a 5 on the die. Reroll goes to a 21 to hit.
Yep.
So it's my Warhammer for a whopping 3 points of damage.
3?
3. I don't get strength on my offhand.
Right. I was just making sure you didn't say 30. Because that would be pretty impressive.
That would be, but
so yeah, this martial arts trained individual comes in, flying kick and punches Fig, gets shot at by Cantriel, staggers a bit. Thorgarn immediately rushes in and starts swinging these blades and hammer around, and he's just kind of reeling back, trying to block this continuously and failing. Griveth. Nope, you're muted too.
Dang it. Dang it.
Dude, I did it. You didn't have to. You learn.
I'm going to be a pain in the butt here. So I assume we were all pretty close when this bomb hit us, right?
Yeah, you were all kind of bunched together. You're a crowd of people coming out of a restaurant.
Okay, everybody should have got a +3 to their saving throws by being near me. Would that have changed the hit? Anybody? Ted, would that have?
No, the ones that failed, I think Ted had an 11 or 12.
Did he?
That would have put me at a 15.
Okay, you were one. That'd been one.
So I was 1 point shy.
Oh man. Okay. All right.
But does that save Roland or the captain?
Good point.
No, because Roland rolled like a 3.
Okay.
Roland was stupid low, and I think Dervish only rolled an 8.
Yeah, stupid low.
Remember that you going forward, with saving throws and stuff, that you have that.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
Yeah, that's anybody within 10 feet of you, I believe, has that benefit.
Gets a +3 to their saving throws. Okay, so Griveth quickly looks around, and we had those casualties from the people who were the townsfolk. Can I tell if they're dead?
The two that were the two of them were indeed dead.
Okay, because we know Roland was dead because
Roland's dead,
Thorgarn
and
checked him,
and Talmud spotted 2 others that were dead. And Thorgarn, Ted, you said that Griveth +3 brought you to a 15.
Yes, sir.
Then you would have saved. The DC was 15.
Oh, I thought you said it was 16.
No.
Oh, I did too.
The save was 15. So you would have saved that. So you would only take 18 instead of 37.
All right. Well, let me.
So adjust that in your hit points.
I'm just gonna, on D&D Beyond, I'm just gonna heal it all and then.
Yeah, do what you got to do. Griveth. So yeah, those 2 are dead.
Okay, so Griveth, mourns them for a moment. He just thinks, it's always these people that have to suffer, and he just it kind of lights a fire in his soul that we're gonna, this kind of thing can't happen. So he, so kind of explain the scene to me, like where is everybody?
So this street that you are on is roughly, we'll say, it's about 30 feet wide. Mm-hmm. And you guys were just within that first 5 or 10 feet coming out of the door. So everybody's more or less within 10 feet. Across the street, about 20 feet away, to the left and right are a couple of street toughs. And on the first floor, sort of like porch window of a building across the street, roof rather, is this figure that threw the fireball at you, standing up on the roof.
Okay. Let's see. So Thorgarn attacked the ninja-like character, right, or the monk?
Everybody attacked the ninja character. So
that's right. Yeah, Cantriel shot at him too. How's he look?
He's breathing heavily. His arms are slashed open. He's got an arrow in one shoulder. He's seen better days.
Okay. I'm going to move next to Cantriel, and I'm going to attack that monk.
Sure.
Ooh, that's a miss. I'm going to re-roll that.
Domain die?
Yep. Okay, that is...
Now, Griveth is so powerful, he can just choose to reroll dice when he wants, right?
Oh, that would be nice.
All right, and Unmade Gaming just rated us with 24 viewers.
Oh, hey!
So that's gonna add up another domain die. So you get that. That was a freebie, Griveth. See, Griveth can re-roll that.
Yay! Thank you, Eldeth.
Thanks, Mike.
See, right? You see how that works? So 25 to hit.
Ooh, that just misses. No, I'm just kidding. That, of course, is a hit. That's definitely a hit.
Now say 9 points of damage.
All right. He's still standing.
He's still standing. Damn.
Dear Lord, dude.
What did you hit him with?
Bradford's honor.
Yeah, he's taking these hits with his forearms, the ones from Thorgarn, and getting pretty slashed up. And as you come in, Griveth, he actually sort of kind of lifts his leg and tries to deflect it and gets slashed across the thigh, the outer thigh from it. So he's trying to defend, but is failing very badly.
All right. I am sick of you.
I don't know whether this requires an action, whether it's a casual observation. Does anyone of these group appear like they're leading or in charge?
The initial person that threw the fireball at you was the one that whistled for everybody else.
Okay.
And they're currently standing on the roof across the street. They're on the lower roof, so they're only about 15 feet up. So, just the one attack, Griveth?
No, another one.
Okay.
All right. So that's 21?
Yep.
All right. I am going to smite. I call on the power of Eldath. Grant me the power to smite my enemies. Oh, bam. 22 points of damage.
How do you kill this guy?
So as he's bringing his limbs up, I see what he's doing. So I use my shield and I kind of knock his arm aside before he can deflect my blow and just run the sword straight through and just pull it back out.
And before he can drop, as you pull the sword out, and he was standing right there, sort of by this time his back is to Fig. Before he can fall, you just see Fig's left hand come up and grab this person by the neck and just sort of holds him there and raises find this thing. All right, I'm not as familiar with Megan's. Oh, there it is. How many charges are left? Oh, it's got 7 charges. So with his other hand, with his right hand, by now you all are used to seeing this. As Fig brings his hand around, his forearm opens up, and the wand shoots into his hand, and he braces it on the now dead monk's shoulder. And let's see, that would be 3, that would be 4, that would be 5. He's gonna spend 3 charges, shoot 1 missile at each of the targets, as all of a sudden just these darts of blue energy shoot out, and they automatically hit each one of the 5 remaining targets. So they are going to take I can't pick my D4s up. All right, so the leader takes max damage, so he takes 5. She takes 5. So 2 takes 2, 3, and 4. As these missiles go shooting out at all of these individuals, and then Fig lets go, and he actually sort of, with his left hand, he doesn't so much just let go, he sort of throws this monk off to the side.
Before we go on, can I do one last thing? I was going to do a bonus action.
Yep.
Okay. So as I run this guy through, I kind of mumble up under my breath, "Protect our greatest treasure, Eldath." And Cantriel is under sanctuary now.
All right.
I'm sorry, my brain just went Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I have like this.
my brain goes Hunchback every time somebody says sanctuary.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Sanctuary!
So Cantriel is warded. Any creature that attempts to attack Cantriel for the next minute must make a wisdom saving throw. If they fail, they have to choose a different target. Does not protect.
If they succeed, don't they still have disadvantage?
It does not say that.
Okay. I guess I remember wrong. My apologies.
If the warded creature makes an attack, casts a spell that affects an enemy, or deals damage to another creature, the spell ends. So at the very least, until your next turn, Cantriel, or a minute, you are warded against damage. So yeah, you would feel, as Griveth mutters this prayer, you would feel this sort of, just starting at your head and quickly moving across your whole body, you just feel this sort of warm sensation and this that some magical spell has been cast upon you. And I'd say with your arcane knowledge, you at least get the sense that this is a good effect. All right. So Fig, I believe, again, I am not as familiar. Fig's a wizard, so he only gets 1 attack. Let me look at his bonus actions. 2 weapon fighting. Nope. Okay, so Fig did the magic missile attack, and then looks to the rest of you and just sort of I will continue to do what I can, but I think you're going to have to actually kill them. And okay, it's this guy's turn. So let me see. Oh no, never mind. He was going to try to hide. He rolled a natural 1. He is not hidden. he is going to. Okay. He is going to take a shot at the ranged individual first. So, what's your spell save DC, Griveth?
14.
Doesn't matter.
14 wisdom.
With a 5, he fails. As you see Cantriel, this figure up on the roof, levels a crossbow at you. And as he levels it at you, you sort of feel a pulse of that warming sensation. And he sort of shakes his head and he shifts his aim to Griveth. That is a 17 to hit.
Nope.
The crossbow bolt ping, just ricochets off your armor. He is going to take another shot at you. This time with a different die. That is a natural 2. He misses.
Is that a
Natural
crossbow?
2?
He can't. Is that a crossbow? He can't shoot twice.
He can if I say he can.
He's...
You don't know what feats he's got.
Oh, okay.
He misses you. It is okay. So the other 4 are going to attack. They are going to move in. One of the thugs comes running in towards Cantriel, waving a mace. And he gets a wisdom save of 18. What was your spell save DC?
Wisdom 14.
So he beats your save. He seems conflicted, almost like he's not sure if he should hit you or not, Cantriel. And then he swings anyway. And he's going to make 2 melee attacks with his mace against you. The first one is a 12. So that hesitation causes him to whiff in front of you. The second one is even worse. A 10. So he just swings wildly with this mace, not even hitting you. One comes running up to you, Talmud.
Well, hold on. Before that happens, I'm going to do a sentinel attack on him.
On
That's a
which
reaction.
one?
The one that attacked Cantriel.
Okay.
That is 24.
Yeah, that hits.
Bradford's honor. We're seeing a lot of blood today. 10 points of damage.
All right. And the one coming up to you, Talmud. Good Lord. These guys are terrible at their job. He almost looks like he's brandishing this mace like he's not intending to hit you. He swings it. Almost looks like he's taking warm-up swings as he approaches you. With 2 12s, or 10s. I don't think he's going to hit you. The other one is going to run up to Thorgarn and attack with his mace. That's a 16 and a 14.
They both miss.
These are the worst thugs this guy could have hired. The woman raises her heavy crossbow and is going to take a shot at Griveth. She raises her crossbow, and I'm going to do something here. Somebody roll me a D100. She rolled a natural 1. So there's a 50% chance that her crossbow firing mechanism breaks.
58.
58. So if I roll an 8, between a 8 and a... No, that's not right. 73 and a 30? I don't know, something like that. We'll see. It's an 8, so it doesn't break, but it does misfire. All of them missed their attacks. Every single one of them missed their attack. Worst thugs ever. Talmud. Why do I keep hearing a beeping sound?
Oh, that might be me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It sounds just like when my batteries die in my headphones, but I'm plugged in. So it was confusing
sorry
me.
about that.
It was
Okay.
really, really quiet. So it was very subtle. All right, Talmud, you've got one that's currently engaged with you.
So I have a very important question, Meta. I was trying to have Ghost Cleaver and Gerta melded together. Had I turned those over to the blacksmith that was going to work on those already? Because I wasn't here last session, I leave that ball 100% in your court.
That was something you wanted to do, and
Correct.
we didn't because maybe you were with Thorgarn and Cantriel when they went to the Dwarven Anvil. I don't remember.
I was with Fig.
Okay, so I'm going to say no, you didn't give them up. You haven't
Okay.
gotten to that task yet.
Okay. So, and you said this, the caster is on the second story roof of the front porch.
Yes, and you currently have one thug with a mace engaged with you.
I think I can sit on it and rotate. I'm going to take the 2 javelins that I've got and drop them kind of in the sandy street as the blue fire kind of continues to or not fire, but like smoke kind of continues to pour out. And the arms of Talmud start to glow as the tattoos begin to kind of change into these blue shimmering shapes. And he this other dwarven face kind of protrudes out of his own, and this figure kind of steps forward, almost like putting on a jacket for the first time, and he says, "Oh, it's always Orlok that's got to do the heavy lifting." And he picks up
Oh no.
Ghost Cleaver, and he is going to move away from the thug that's engaged with him as he enters rage.
Don't worry. They haven't been able to roll above an 8.
Probably why I'm not
So-
worried.
You don't even notice the as the mace swings past you.
I'll come back later.
Freeze.
He runs over to where this porch is, where this mage is. He's going to head to the 2 supports on either side of where he's at, and he's going to use Ghost Cleaver with 1 attack to chop through 1 support, and then take like a short jaunt over to the second and swing with his second attack and take out the other support.
All right. Roll damage. I'm not going to make you roll to attack a porch support.
I appreciate that. Make me look like a chump.
Unless you want to see if it gets a crit.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. So do roll the attack.
No crit on the first one.
Because it would also make a difference if you rolled an at 1, I guess.
Yeah, so on the second one I did, so I'm going to spend a domain die. Okay, not a nat 1 on the second. Okay, the first one was, could I spend domain die to reroll damage?
I'll allow it.
Sweet, I'm going to do it. Cool, that's better. So that is 15 points for the first post.
You come running up to this post, and this is weather-worn wood, and it shatters as you strike it, and you hear the porch roof sort of protest as you rush over to the second support.
It's coming down, you fucking bastard. He takes like a short swinging step and is going to deal 18 points to the second one.
Again, and you hear this, and I'm going to have this individual make a dexterity saving throw to see if they can keep their feet about them. They roll a 10, so they come down in a tumble. and they land face down on the street in a pile, and you see a half-elven woman wearing studded leather armor. She holds a short sword with a curved blade. Not like a scimitar. It's kind of a wavy like blade in one hand. And she just sort of, you hear as she hits the ground, goof, the wind get knocked out of her, and she's prone.
Talmud rounds on her. You're on my level now, lass. You're not ever getting back up from that ground. And he's going to kind of start stalking forward, but that's all he's got.
All right. That brings us back to the top of the order. But my martial artist is dead. So Cantriel, you're up.
All right. So we still have, they're all, well, except for the one who just fell off the roof, correct? They're all still up.
They're all up, and each of you, who didn't have one engaged with them? Fig and Griveth had gotten shot at, but Thorgarn, Talmud, and Cantriel. So Cantriel, you do have one of the thugs with a mace that had taken a couple whiffs at you.
Okay.
That's engaged with you.
So he's right on top of me then. I am going to, I guess, well, bonus action, I'm moving the hunter's mark onto him.
Okay.
I'll look over. Oh, you're the newest one now, aren't you? And Mark has been moved, and then I will do my rapier. And stab upon him. And that is going to be a miss for the... I'll re-roll that one. Let me re-roll for that one.
Sure.
Why not? Let's spin him now.
Oh, so glad it
What was that voice? Why not? Let's spin them die. That was great. I've never heard you make that noise before.
Well, I mean, if you play the right zone at BB's place, you would.
So, what did you get with the reroll? Or should I say, what did you get?
Crap, church giggles. Got a 20. Dirty 20.
Okay. Yep, definitely going to hit.
So that's, and then it's going to be, do you need this separate between the hunter's mark and then the actual damage?
No, I only needed that because the monk had the deflect missile.
Okay, so that's 8 piercing total. And then my second strike, I will go again. And that is going, I'm sorry, that's going to be a 12 to hit? No?
No, that's, well, let me double check. I think that's a miss. Yeah, no, actually that's a hit.
Oh,
that's
cool.
So then that's going to be, what is that going to be? That's going to be an 11 piercing this go around.
11, so a total of 19 piercing.
Yes.
He's looking pretty punctured. Thorgarn.
So there's a dude on me, and a part of me looks over at the guy that fell at Talmud's feet, or the woman that fell at Talmud's feet. And mentally he's thinking Talmud's got that. But he is so full of rage at Roland and the two commoners that have died, at the hands of all of these thugs, if you will. And he looks at the attacker as he comes in, and he just casually bats away the attacks that come in, and he just says, I am your death. I rage. It's a 19 hit.
Yes.
I'm going to turn that into a super crit.
5 domain
for 55 damage. So that is 55 damage.
All right, so let me make sure I do this adjustment right. So you just spent 5 domain dice for the super crit. How do you destroy this thug?
Oh, I just take his head right off.
You barely, as he was taking his swings at you, Thorgarn, you've already got your weapons in hand, and you just sort of barely move out of the way. And with calm, for your nature, it's almost shocking how calm you are in this, as you just quickly move these weapons. And when the weapons settle to the ground, just as you bring them down, there's this sort of blood that splatters off of them into the dirt, and this thug just boom, thuds to the ground. All right.
So that was one attack.
Most
so then
impressive.
I will. There's not one on Fig. So I will come over to the one on Cantriel.
Okay.
I will attack him.
All right.
Thorgarn, wait, do we want to keep one alive?
That is an 18 to hit.
That's going to hit.
No, because we can talk to them after they're dead. Just, keep this area clean.
That is 14 points of damage.
All right. That's the one that was on Cantriel. All right. How do you kill him?
This is again with the long sword. So I would imagine I'm coming up from behind, and it's just a straight shot through, down his spine. Because he just collapses without the ability to hold himself up.
Another thug falls in the dust to your weapons.
So then, I'll just have the ancestors and fallen friends that are, that appear when I rage, just kind of like circling around the two of us. And I'll look murder at the half elf.
All right. Griveth.
So there's the only one left is the one that fell off the roof, right?
No, there's the one that fell off the roof, the one that shot at you, and there is still one other thug that's up.
Oh, okay.
Shouldn't there also be the one that attacked Talmud?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's one other one besides the one that shot it. So you've got the assassin lying prone in the street. You've got the female thug with the heavy crossbow that misfired. And then you've got the one that Talmud left behind, that's currently standing by himself. So you've got your choice of 3 targets.
I'll run over to the one that the Thorgarn left.
The Talmud left?
Is that Talmud left.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to say, you see that you're outclassed. You can't defeat us. Surrender. Throw your weapon to the ground. We'll show you mercy.
Make an intimidation or persuasion check.
All right. That would be a dirty 20.
All right. Let me check his charisma. The only way he's going to resist this is if he rolls a natural 20. He did not.
You don't have to die. You don't have to die.
All right. So he's intimidated.
Unless Cantriel decides you do. Or maybe Thorgarn, or maybe
he looks around. He looks around at all of you, and he looks at you in particular, Griveth, looking you up and down, looking at your bloody weapon, looking at his dead companions, and he goes, "It's not worth it." And he turns to run. You, if you want it, have an opportunity attack against him.
Okay. This probably isn't raw, but could I do a grapple instead of an opportunity attack?
You can attempt to tackle him.
Okay. I will do that. So do you want me to make just like a grapple check?
Yeah, what I'll do is yeah, it's going to end up being strength anyway. Because strength anyway is I'm going to do an athletics check to see if you can outrun your grapple.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
All right. So what you got?
Wasn't so good. I got a sorry,
You could
11.
always re-roll.
I'll use a reroll. Ooh, that's much better. I got a dirty 20.
Interesting. He also got a dirty 20.
Oh.
So as you leap towards him, as he turns to run, you get a hold of his the edge of his armor, and he is going to attempt to jerk away. So we're going to do another opposed strength. This time I want to do just straight strength.
Okay. Don't be a fool, man.
You're off.
Give it up. Give it up. 15 for me.
I said it's not worth it. And he shrugs your hand away. He got a 16. And a 14 plus
Awesome.
2. So he shrugs your hand away and he takes off running. So, any bonus actions or anything there, Griveth?
No.
All right. So that's going to be, I believe Fig is next. Fig. Oh, Fig does have this spell. So, range wisdom saving throw. Big spell save DC is 16. So the guy that's running, he actually succeeded on that. By 1. You see him as Fig suddenly reaches out with a hand towards the figure running away from you. Did you want me to stop him? And he holds his hand out, and you see this blue energy just sort of past you, Griveth. And at the last second, right before it hits him, he disappears around a corner. Fig was attempting to cast Hold Person on him. And he succeeded by 1. I gotta make sure to cast this. Okay. So he got away. Fig is there. The person on the ground is going to stand up using half of their movement. And you see her face is covered in dirt. And she looks around at all of you. And
does she acknowledge the murder in my eyes as I'm staring at her, the blood of her companions all over me?
She's a little preoccupied with the other dwarf that has angrily threatened her life, knocked her off the roof.
Just asking.
She's not going to... she's too far away. So she will not have advantage on this attack. But she is going to attack you, Talmud, with her curved short sword. She is actually going to make 2 attacks with this short sword. She starts for a second to look like she's going to back away from you. And then suddenly she lunges and takes these 2 swings. The first one is a 24 to hit. And the second one is an 18 to hit. They both hit? Okay, so from the piercing damage, you're going to take a total of 8 plus 6, 14, halved to 7, because you're raging. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw at advantage because you're dwarven.
That is a 24.
You succeed. Whoops. So you're only going to take half damage. So half of 12, 13, 14, 19, 21, 22, 23, 25 is 12. You take 12 points of poison damage from the first attack, and I need another con save.
So is the 12, is that already halved?
That's halved. It was 24 total.
Okay.
So then for the second attack, I need another con save at advantage.
Okay, wait. So if I pass, I take half?
Yes.
And if I'm a dwarf, I take half.
Wait. Oh, yeah, you have resistance to poison. Yeah, so you take 6. You're
Cool.
correct.
I like that much better than 12.
All right, so take another save at advantage because you got hit a second time with this poison blade.
That one is a 17.
So you pass that one. So you'll take a quarter of 15, 18, 22, halved to 11, halved again to 5. So another 5 points of poison damage. So she lunges at you, and she's got confidence in her eyes as she takes 2 quick stabs at you, and she watches, looking expectantly at you as this blade pierces you twice, and she looks down at her blade and sees the red blood mixing with the green poison, and she sees you barely batting an eye at what she just did. So that's her turn. The woman with the crossbow gets her crossbow resituated, and is going to attempt Thorgarn to shoot you. That is a 17 to hit.
That will do it.
So a heavy crossbow bolt comes flying across the street to hit you, Thorgarn.
I'm not close enough to deflect that, am I?
No, because of where you moved and we're tussling with the other dude. You're too far away. But you're only going to take 3 points of damage as you hear the crossbow fire, and you sort of turn in that direction. It's just enough. It grazes your shoulder, kind of like where you don't have a gorget, and it just sort of...
Is that after halving or before halving?
That's right.
I am raging. So I take 1?
You take 1 point. I'm a little worried. I'm throwing a monk, 4 fugs, and 4 fugs. Fugged is what my guys are. 4 thugs and an assassin at you guys, and I'm like, this is going to be tough for him.
Truth be told, I was worried when I thought I was at 30 some hit points, and realized I had the wrong character sheet. I have my 7th level character in paper here in front of me, and then I realized that I passed my save, and things went and got all smiles and sunshine. So
all right, so you only take 1 from her. She's fired her shot. She's done.
She is all right.
Talmud.
So this caster had gotten back to her feet and taken 2 sneaky lunges. And Talmud, or the dwarf currently embodying Talmud, kind of looks down where these slashes are. You sneaky, pointy-eared little bitch. That's it. Time to put you down like a dog. And he's going to step forward and swing Ghost Cleaver twice.
Nice to see you too, Uncle.
Shut up!
No.
Okay. Let's see. The first one is a 19 to hit.
I do believe that's a hit. Let me double check. Yeah, that's a hit.
Good. Okay. And the second, I'm gonna re-roll that. It was kind of cockeyed. That's not a lot better. I'm gonna spend a domain die to re-roll that then. Okay, that's at least respectable. 21.
21 damage?
No, to hit
Oh,
on
to
the
hit.
second attack. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely hit.
As far as damage goes, the first one is going to be 18 points of slashing.
All right.
And the second is going to be 10.
All right. She's still standing.
And as he has struck her now twice with this axe, this small handful of other spectral dwarves pours out of Talmud's body and begins to surround this figure, kind of making jabs and slashes that do no damage as she is surrounded by ancestral spirits.
Which gives her disadvantage on attacks?
If she attacks anybody other than me, she is at disadvantage. And even if she hits them successfully, they have resistance against that damage.
Okay. So that's back to the top of the batting order. Which brings us to Cantriel.
All right, so it's the spellcaster who's closest to me, then?
Yes, the half-elf woman is the closest to you because the crossbow-wielding, heavy crossbow is further away. She's on the other side.
Then I'll go up to the half-elf woman. Large smile spanned across my face, and now that you met Uncle, let's prove a little something to him, shall we? And I'm going to stab at her with my rapier. And Hunter's Mark, using my bonus action first to move it to her.
Okay.
So that's going to be a 17 to hit.
That hits.
Beautiful. And then that is going to be, I think it 8, so 12 points piercing.
Okay.
And then second stab. That's going to be 16 to hit.
That hits.
Oh, cool. And I just got like full roll damage. So that's going to be 18 points piercing.
18?
Yeah.
Between all of these blades striking this woman, she is in bad shape.
Cool.
Maybe I was wrong about you having to stay in the back.
And there's the point.
No, there's the point.
I'll like wave my bloodied rapier in front of your nose.
Thorgarn.
All right, so is there the half elf and two others still, or is there just
One other.
One other?
The woman with the heavy crossbow and the half elf.
So I'm gonna just charge at the crossbow woman, and the murder in my eyes is still there. I'm not screaming, I'm not yelling or anything, but I'm like stalking straight at her. So unless she decides to drop the crossbow while I'm approaching, I'm gonna hit her 3 times, or attempt to.
All right.
Say 15 is my lowest.
15 hits.
$34 points of damage as my weapon is just descend into her.
As you attack her with full fury, she's desperately trying to, she's swinging this blade, trying to fend off your attacks. And you see that she has taken on a bit of a fencing style almost. And with the other hand that's held back, you see that as she's failing to block your attacks, she's holding something up in her hands as she's holding back like this. And you can see that it's moving around. I would like everybody to make a perception check. Oh wait, you attacked the crossbow person, didn't you?
Yes.
Never mind. Disregard that. You can all still make a perception check. Cantriel, Talmud, and Griveth, not you, Thorgarn, because you attacked her. You kill the artillerist was the word I was looking for earlier. You kill the heavy crossbow woman unceremoniously. At one point, she tries to block with her crossbow, and your furious weapons just cut through, shattering the wood, and she goes down. The rest of you, what'd you get for your perception check?
9 for me.
11.
I can always tell by V's expression if it was a good or bad roll.
Well, because I got the,
What'd you get,
pluses in
Griveth?
18.
Did you ask
Griveth.
Griveth?
Griveth, what did you get? Perception?
Sorry, I got a 9.
Talmud?
14.
Okay. You just all see that she's holding something. You can't quite make out what it is. So that was Thorgarn. Now it's Griveth's turn, and there is only one target on the battlefield, and you are all more or less surrounding her.
So the guy who was running away from me is he escaped?
As far as you know, yeah. He ran down a little ways and then turned the corner, just getting out of Fig's attempt to hold him magically.
Okay, I am gonna go. I want to try to find him.
All right, you're gonna take off.
Mhm.
What's your movement?
30.
Okay. So you get to where he turned the corner. Give me a investigation check at disadvantage
Ooh.
because you're a human,
Ooh,
and it's dark enough that the between the buildings is dark.
that is not good. Oh, lowest is 13.
Let's see.
I actually rolled a crit on the other die.
So his stealth. So you look and you don't see anything. And then you see about half the building's length down. You see there's some crates, looks like empty crates behind one of the buildings, between the buildings. And you see one of them shift as it looks like he's trying to move it to conceal where he is. He got a 6 on his stealth.
Oh.
So you can see that he's trying and failing to escape your notice behind some crates. But at this point, he's about another 15 feet away from you.
Okay, so I can't reach him, right?
No, unless you use your full action to dash to him.
Oh, right. Okay. Could I command?
You can. That's a spell, right?
I have to be able to see them though.
He failed his stealth check. You basically
okay.
you saw the box move and you saw him move it, trying to hide.
Okay.
So yeah, you absolutely know where he is and can see him.
Okay. So
That's a wisdom save, isn't it?
yeah. So by the power of Eldath, I command you! My voice just like booms out into the alley, bouncing off the walls. Grovel before my power!
So your spell save is what?
He needs a wisdom save 14.
His wisdom is +0, but he rolled a 14.
Okay, have him reroll.
Okay, you're gonna spend those domain dice.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually what you see is where this where you tried to move this crate to hide, and you yell at him, "By the power of Eldath, grovel!" The response is, at first, the crate just goes as he tries just to move it a little bit to hide from him, and the reroll is another 14.
Oh!
You can spend 2 more. You got 106 of them, so. But yeah.
No, that's okay. I'm not going to spend it.
Okay, so.
This is fun. This is fun.
Yeah, he. That's the response, is just to go. You definitely know where he is, though. It is Fig's turn. The rest of you, Thorgarn, Cantriel, and Talmud, you hear that sort of heavy. For some reason in my mind, because of Mandalorian, not for some reason, because of Mandalorian, Fig is almost IG-11 in my mind, as he just comes marching up. Do. And he is going to. First of all, I want to see, because I didn't roll perception for Fig. That is a 17. So I'm going to need my DC 16. So she has a wisdom +0. She has to save against a 16, and she rolls a 16. Fig, you see this blue energy go out again towards the woman, and for a moment it seems like it washes over her. You see, for just a split second, she freezes where she is, and then the spell fails to take effect as Fig tried another hold person and failed. And Fig looks at the rest of you and says, "Watch out. She has," and that's all she gets out, as the woman holding the item in her hands throws it down on the ground in between all of you. I need dexterity saving throws from Cantriel, Talmud, Thorgarn, and Fig. And also from her, because she's in the range.
So we see her throw this down, right?
Yep. Yeah, you barbarians have your advantage because of that. What's it called? Primal awareness, I think. I need to look up. There were. Yep,
Danger sense.
Yeah, danger sense. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Nice.
Using the rest of it, so that's another 10th, or not 10th, sorry. It's a 10th level fireball. It's a it's a 5th level fireball, though, as she throws. You see in a split second as it comes down that she is holding a necklace that has 3 beads remaining on it, and she throws it at your feet. And I need to roll her save as well. Fig's spell save DC, or no, sorry, it wasn't Fig's. This thing's spell save DC. Okay, I know what that is. She gets advantage.
Can Fig counter spell?
No, she doesn't get advantage. That's a good. It's not a spell. It's a magic item.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Good observation though. So she rolled a 16, so she's going to have it. All right. So, what did everybody get for their saves?
So, if this is not a spell, does it count as an attack?
Yes, it's an area effect.
So everybody has resistance to that because of my spirit guardians. Or not spirit guardians,
well,
but my guardian
No,
spirit.
it's not.
No, because it's not an attack against you. It's an area effect. That doesn't work against area effects.
Fair.
However, no, because Griveth ran after the dude, so you guys don't get the bonus. So what did everybody get for save?
23.
What was that, Ted? Thorgarn? First Cantriel spoke over you, then I spoke over you.
1, 8, 18.
Okay, and Talmud.
I got a 21.
Everybody saved. I'm rolling 10d6. That's 10, 14, 15, 20, 25, 30 points of damage, halved to 15 points of fire damage. Let me check on. Oh, you know what? I did not roll a save for Fig. Oh, Fig also saved.
I would also like to use a reaction because I am raging, and another creature I can see within 30 feet is going to be taking damage. I'm going to use my reaction for Thorgarn to take 2d6 less damage with Spirit Shield.
Okay.
As the Dwarven spirits, who are also the ancestors of Thorgarn, are going to throw themselves in front of this and absorb 10 points from that.
Not necessary, but thank you.
Thank them.
So you only take, you would only take 5 points then
Yeah.
of fire damage.
This is amazing. I thought this was going to be, an encounter that dropped me. But
So did I.
it looks like we're either done or nearly done, and I have more hit points now than when I thought I was at when we started.
So, real quick, I need everybody to make a perception check.
Nope.
Oh, it's a 19.
An 18?
19.
19. Griveth, you can do so at disadvantage because you didn't go into the alley. You're still in that area, and you definitely saw the fireball explosion.
10 for me.
Talmud?
13.
2.
Another blast of explosive fire causes you all to be momentarily blinded from the dust and the flame and the debris of the explosion. But because you all saved, you hold your ground and you throw your hands up and you shield yourself. And when you look back to where the woman was standing, what you see is a red silk scarf, singed and burning, floating slowly down to the ground, and no sign of the half-elven woman. And you know what? Yeah, never mind. You also don't see any sign of Dervish. In fact, all of you would suddenly realize, as there are no more living targets, Dervish was nowhere to be seen during this fight either. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session. All right. That.
You realize we've had 3 sessions and we haven't finished the day yet.
This is true. Well,
Yeah,
the sun
this
is
like
setting.
it's been a hard day's night.
It sure has. We're sure taking our hard days knocks.
It's a hard knock life for us.
So that was episode 17 of season 3 of the Dawnbringers campaign, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, Changing Tides. That was fun. I am glad to be back. This week has been the return of Mini Terrain Domain back to streaming, and this was Dawnbringers' first return in what's actually been over a month since we've played.
Yeah.
And it's been about a month since the last time we were on. A little less than a month because it was mid-month when we did our Q&A session. But thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. Huge thank you to Unmade Gaming. Which reminds me, V, I did not give you a chance to tease since Unmade Gaming gave us a raid.
Yeah.
V has a little something to
That's a
tease
thing.
about something coming up involving our friends at Unmade Gaming.
So I'm going to be doing another fun little ship game, except this time it's going to be a podcast. And Mike from Unmade Gaming has pulled this together. We're actually going to start recording next weekend. The shows are going to start up in February, and we're going to have installments happening. And it's looking like it's going to be a lovely cast. It's myself, it's McCloken, Rory, and our DM is VidStore Cowboy over on Twitter, and Mike is also another player. And it's in the Humblewood setting. So are all these lovely anthropomorphic
figures, and I can't wait to play mine because she's going to be fun. I'm going to really have a great time with it. So yeah, I'll start tweeting more information as we get it, and hopefully you can come and give it a listen. And it's part of the Don't Split the Podcast network now, so we're very excited for that too. And that's really about all I can recall and or know at this point.
I know more information will be coming out. I've been talking to
Yeah.
Mike, and I know he plans to release some more information. So make sure you're following Unmade Gaming on Twitter. Follow V and the rest of us on Twitter to see what we're all up to. But yeah, we'll have more information about that. Since Unmade Gaming is a friend of the channel, they're a fantastic channel that you should be following. They do a lot of charity streams as well as just play a lot of D&D, and Mike's just another fine example in our community of tabletop. So show them some love. They showed us some love, rated earlier with 20 people. So thank you again to Unmade Gaming and the raid. Thanks to everybody who hung out with us. Sorry, I wasn't watching chat that closely. I don't have it enabled on this screen right now because of the new Twitch layout, but I popped in occasionally, saw you guys in there. It just warms my heart seeing everybody back with us again. Huge thank you, of course, to Scotty and V and Ted and Jeremy. And Megan, our thoughts are with you. We hope you get to feeling better soon and that you can join us next week. And you can catch all episodes of the Dawnbringers over on youtube.com/mini-terrain-domain. And I'm going to do a much better job this year of keeping the VODs up there. So in just a couple days, this VOD of tonight's game will be available over on YouTube. Join the over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube to check it out. Jeremy, if you type, I think if you type my name in there, it brings up all of my links. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for that. So with that, we are going to get out of here. We're going to end the stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want.
Ta-da!